Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our channel. This is Engineer Mark Gimba, and in this video titingnan natin itong isang simple problem natin on infinite series So if the sum S equals 4 times the summation summation from n equals 0 to infinity of n squared plus 1 all over 5n or 5 raised to n can be simplified to the fraction a over b, where a and b are positive co-prime integers, what is a minus b? So, for this problem, kakailangan nating balikan yung ating basic concepts on infinite geometric series. So, balikan natin yung ating basic algebra. If we have an infinite geometric series, meaning yung ating terms ay may common ratio. So, yung infinite geometric series natin, valid siya kapag yung ating terms or yung ating common ratio x has an absolute value of less than 1. So, basically, mga fraction ito or decimal. So, if we have, say, a series starting at 1, plus x squared plus x cubed plus x to the fourth, and so on, continuing indefinitely. Now, from basic algebra, we know that this sum is equal to 1 all over 1 minus x. Or sa common textbooks natin, ang nakalagay dyan is a sub 1 all over 1 minus the common ratio. So, ito yung sum natin for an infinite geometric series. Now, itong left-hand side natin, yung term natin na 1 can be expressed as x raised to 0. So, anything except 0, anything raised to 0 is equal to 1. So, itong left-hand side natin can be simplified into a sigma notation or yung ating summation notation. We have x raised to n, where n goes from 0 to infinity. So, yan yung simplification natin for the left-hand side. And that's equal to 1 over 1 minus x. Now, how is this special compared dito sa summation natin na hinahanap? Now, yung summation na hinahanap natin, since yung 4, constant lang naman yan, so pwede muna natin siya i-ignore. Focus tayo dito sa summation na to. This summation of from n equals 0 to infinity of n squared plus 1 all over 5n can actually be disintegrated or can be separated into two parts. So we have the summation from n equals 0 to infinity of n squared over 5 raised to n, plus we have the summation from n equals 0 to infinity of 1 over 5 raised to n. Now we can actually rewrite this two, so that we will have the summation of n equals 0 to infinity of n squared times 1 over 5 raised to n plus the summation of n equals 0 to infinity of 1 over 5 raised to n. So now, we will call these two terms as a. For the first term, we'll call this a. And for the second term, we'll call this b. Now, kung mapapansin nyo, unahin natin si b. So, si b is actually equal to the summation of n equals 0 to infinity of 1 over 5 raised to n. So, pag kinompare natin siya dito sa ating original equation for the infinite geometric series, this term, kung makikita natin, we can actually we can actually write x equal to 1/5, no? So, if we suppose x equals 1/5, then we plug it into this equation, then itong formula natin for infinite geometric series will be just the same as our b term. So, ibig sabihin, itong term na to, x equals 1/5 lang yan nitong equation natin inside this block box. So, now we can express b equal to that's just simply 1 over 1 minus 1 over 5. So simplifying, we have 1 over 4 over 5, or this is equal to 5 over 4. So we have yung ating value for b, no, as 5 over 4. So now focus tayo dito sa mas complicated na part, which is yung n squared times 1 over 5 raised to n. Now we can actually use the same logic, no, as b, and we can express this term, this summation actually, na n equals 0, summation of n squared times 1 over 5 raised to n. We can actually express this as the summation of n squared x raised to n, wherein yung x natin is equal to 1 over 5. So we use the same logic as b. Now ang tanong, ano tong term na to, no? Hindi natin alam tong summation of n squared times x raised to n from n equals 0 to infinity. So for that, we will use basic calculus concepts naman, no? So i-rewrite natin tong formula natin, no, for the infinite geometric series. We will have the summation of n equals 0 to infinity of x raised to n is equal to 1 over 1 minus x. Now, what we can do here, no, is we can differentiate this term. So, differentiating this term with respect to x, we will have, unahin natin yung left term, that's just equal to n times x raised to n minus 1. We can apply the basic power rule dito, no? Dahil summation lang naman yan. Yung ating derivative is distributive over addition. So we will use the same power formula, no? So that's n times x raised to n minus 1. Now, however, pag nag-differentiate tayo, no, our limits of summation will move to the right by one step. So if this is n equals 0, then our new limit will be n equals 1 to infinity. So we move one step. Now, differentiating yung yung right hand side natin, no, that's we can write this, no, as 1 minus x raised to negative 1. So differentiating, we have negative 1 times 1 minus x raised to negative 2 times the derivative of 1 minus x, which is negative 1. So simplifying this, we have negative 1 times negative 1, that's positive 1. So we have 1 minus x raised to negative 2, or this is simply 1 over 1 minus x quantity squared. So ito na yung ating differentiated na term, no? Now we can manipulate this. So itong this summation term, no, on the left, we can actually change our limits of summation. So we can change that by making this n equals 0 to infinity times n, or of n times x raised to n minus 1. No, so binago natin yung ating limits to 0. Bakit siya applicable? Dahil yung first term naman nitong summation na to is just 0 times x raised to n minus 1. No? So 0 times x raised to n minus 1 is just 0. So we're not really changing the value of the summation. So okay lang na magpalit tayo ng limits of summation. Now this is equal to 1 over 1 minus x squared. Now what we can do next no, is to multiply both sides by x. Since yung summation natin no, is nakadepend naman kay n, okay lang tayo mag-multiply ng x dyan. No? So walang magiging problema. So simplifying, we have the summation of n equals 0 to infinity of n times x raised to n. So we add the exponents of x. No? So 1 plus n minus 1, that's n. Now, over here sa right-hand side natin, we have x over 1 minus x squared. Quantity squared rather. So now, medyo lumalapit na tayo no, dun sa ating target form. Ang target form natin is n squared x raised to n. Now we have n x raised to n. No? So maybe now you can have now the idea no, on kung ano yung gagawin nating sunod. We'll again differentiate this term. So differentiating again with respect to x. So differentiating with respect to x again, we will have for the left-hand side, no, we have summation of n equals 1 to infinity of n times n. So yung exponent natin na x raised to n, no, ibababa natin yan. So n times x raised to n minus 1. Now over here sa right, a-apply tayo ng quotient rule. No? So we have the denominator 1 minus x quantity squared times the derivative of the numerator. So derivative of x is just 1 minus the numerator x times the derivative of the denominator. So that's 2 times 1 minus x times yung derivative ng 1 minus x, which is negative 1. No? So chain rule tayo. All over the square of the denominator. So that's 1 minus x quantity to the fourth. Now, i-simplify natin both terms, no? So, for the right-hand side, we have the summation from n equals 1 to infinity of n squared times x raised to n minus 1. Now, over here sa right-hand side, no, we will have 1 minus x squared natin is just 1 minus 2x plus x squared. Minus, over here, no, we have x times 2, so we have 2x, times 1, we have 2x again, times negative 1, we have negative 2x. Now, x times 2 times negative x, we have negative 2x squared, times negative 1, so we have positive 2x squared. All over 1 minus x raised to the fourth power. Now, simplifying further, we have, so cancel natin si 2x. So we have x squared minus 2x squared, no? So that's negative x squared. Then kopyahin natin si 1, no? So we have 1 minus x squared all over 1 minus x to the fourth. Now, simplifying further, no? Itong 1 minus x squared natin can be factored out. So that's 1 minus x times 1 plus x all over 1 minus x to the fourth. So we cancel 1 minus x, no? So we will be left with 1 plus x all over 1 minus x quantity cube. So we can now write this this term as the summation of n equals 1 or from n equals 1 to infinity of n squared x raised to n minus 1 equal to 1 plus x all over 1 minus x quantity cube. Now, similarly, dun sa ginawa natin earlier, we can change the limits of summation without actually changing the value, no? So we will make this as n equals 0 to infinity. The summation of n squared x raised to n minus 1 is equal to 1 plus x all over 1 minus x quantity cube. So, lastly, no, we can apply yung ginawa natin, no, sa earlier part. We can multiply this term, both sides, by x. So, multiplying both sides by x, we will have the summation from n equals 0 to infinity of n squared x raised to n equals x squared plus x all over 1 minus x quantity cube. Now, anong implication nito, no? If babalikan natin yung ating target term, so our A term, no? So, kopyahin natin yung A term natin. A, this is equal to, we have the summation from n equals 0 to infinity of n squared times 1 over 5 raised to n is just the same as this one, no? It's just the same as this equation where x equals 1 over 5. So we substitute x equals 1 over 5 to this equation to get the value of a. So we have 1 over 5 quantity squared plus 1 over 5 all over 1 minus 1 over 5 quantity cube. So ganun lang kasimple natin makakalculate, no, si a. Now evaluating or simplifying this, no, we have 1 over 5 squared, that's 1 over 25 plus 1 over 5 all over yung 1 minus 1 over 5 natin, that's 4 over 5 quantity cube. So evaluating further, we have 6 over 25 all over 64 over 125. Now simplifying this, we have 32 over, or no, we have 15 over 32. So ito na yung value natin for A. So we have now the value for A and the value for B na 5 over 4. Now we can finally solve yung ating summation, no? So our summation is 4 times the summation from n equals 0 to infinity of n squared times 1 over 5 raised to n plus the summation from n equals 0 to infinity of 1 over 5 raised to n. Now this is simply 4 times, we have 15 over 32 plus 5 over 4. Now, evaluating, we have 4 times 15 over 32 plus 40 over 32. So this is 55 over 32 times 4. Now we can cancel out yung 4. So we will have S equals 55 over 8. Now we take note, no? We can now let A equals 55 and B equals 8. So note na these two are co-prime. So okay na, no? So finally, we have A minus B equals 55 minus 8. We have 47 as our final answer. So ganun lang kasimple nating sinosolve, no, yung ating summation, no, ng infinite series. So usually sa mga infinite series problems natin, dumadaan tayo almost always sa ating mga special series like yung infinite geometric series natin. So that ends yung video na to. If nagustuhan nyo tong discussion dito, please leave a like on this video and we'll see you sa mga next uploads natin. Thank you.